students, this is the 13th video of our module 1, and in this video I'm going to explain you about the remaining part of assigning values for variables, and then move on with the operators. So coming to the example program of assigning values to the variables, so we have here in this program we can see three different types, that is only declaration has been done, declaration and assignment also has been done, and only assignment is done in this program. So we have a float, double and unsigned data types, and variables xp belongs to float data type, yq belongs to double data type, and k belongs to unsigned data type. So this is the declaration part. Only we have declared those variables. Whereas declaration as well as assignment means these two are the examples. We have declared m as variable and we have assigned the value 54321 because it is an integer value, integer data type. We have declared it as integer data type. Similarly, n also is a number, that is, it is also a long integer, and we have assigned the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. So then coming to the third part, already we have declared x, p, y, q and k. So for that we have assigned the values. So you can see the values, and all these values have to be printed. So whatever values we are having here, that will be shown as the output in our program. Then coming to reading data from keyboard. So whatever values or whatever data you want to read from keyboard, it has to be read from the keyboard, and it will be saved in that variable whichever you have declared it and which data type you have declared it. So based on what type of data type you have declared it, we are going to use the control string there. So %d will be used for integer data type, %f will be used for float data type, %c will be used for character data type, and ampersand variable 1 and ampersand variable 2. So here we can see, so these are nothing but the address at which the data has to be stored in this variable. So we are going to store the data, whatever we are going to read from the keyboard, it will be stored in variable 1. It will be stored in the address of variable 1. So we can find the data in address of variable 1. Ampersand represents the address. Ampersand represents the address of variable 1. So we have an example here, scanf %d ampersand number. So whatever value you are going to read, so that value will be stored in number, address of this number. Coming to the defining symbolic constants. So symbolic constants are nothing but the constants which we are going to define the value for that particular constant. So for example here, why we are going to use the symbolic names? Symbolic names are the constant identifiers which frees us from the above problem. What are the above problems? Modifiability and understandability. So for example, in your program, if you are going to use like for example here we have hash define strength 100. Strength I have declared it as 100. I have assigned a value 100 for that, and if in many parts of the same program we are going to use this value. So if I suddenly want to change the strength value from 100 to 50, so instead of going everywhere in every part of a program wherever it is being used and modifying it to 50, so instead of doing that, I can directly change here in this part. I can change the value to 50, so it will be reflected automatically. It will be reflected in whichever part we are going to use this name, symbolic name. So this strength is called as a symbolic name. So instead of using this value, we'll be directly using the symbolic name wherever we are requiring that part in our program. So like that, if modifiability will becomes easier if we are going with the symbolic names. Second one is understandability. So for example, 100 and 50 are the values which we are going to give in our program, which represents the strength of the class and pass mark of the students. So if we use 100 and 50, both are integer numbers, and we will be getting confused like which integer number represents which data, either it is a strength or whether it is a pass mark. So it will be very difficult for us. So in order to make that easier to understand, we are going with the symbolic names. Symbolic names are nothing but the names which we are going to use in order to declare the values which we are going to use in our program. Okay, so like that, in order to make these problems, come out of these problems in our programs, we are going to use this symbolic names, and these constant, whatever values we are going to use, they are called as symbolic constants. So coming to the last part of this assigning values, declaring a variable as a constant or volatile. So till now we have seen only this. If we are going to use a keyword constant in front of the declaration, then whatever size we have here, whatever value we have given for this particular variable, so it remains constant throughout the execution of a program. So if we want to make it as volatile means it should keep on changing. So for example, date always, it will not be same, it will be changing daily. So that's why those type of variables, it can be made, or explicitly we can give the keyword volatile in order to tell that this value, it keeps on changing. So this is about declaring a variable as constant and volatile, and assigning variables to the assigning values to the variables. So next we will move on with the operators. So what are these operators? Operators are also one of the C tokens. We have seen we have different types of C tokens: keywords, identifiers, then constants, then strings, then special symbols, then operators. So these operators are also the C tokens which we are going to use in our C program. So C supports a rich set of built-in operators. An operator is a symbol that tells the computer to perform certain mathematical or logical operations or manipulations. So whatever mathematical operations or logical operations you need to perform, you have to use these operators. So operators are used in programs to manipulate data and variables, whatever data we are going to enter. So if you want to calculate something out of it, then we are going to use these operators. Coming to the different types of operators. So we have 8 different types of operators: arithmetic operators, relational operators, logical operators, assignment operators, increment and decrement operators, conditional operators, bitwise operators, and special operators. So we will see one by one. Coming to the arithmetic operators. So arithmetic operators are nothing but the basic operations what we are going to perform. So it may be like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus. So what is the difference between division and modulus? Division means it will be considering the result as quotient, whereas modulus means it will be considering the result as remainder. So these are the different operators which we are going to use for arithmetic operations. Here one program we can see. So main, int months and days, printf, enter the days. If we are going to give the number of days, it has to represent in terms of months and days. So how many months it takes and how many days will be remaining. So like that, once we are going to read the number of days from the keyboard, so it has to calculate the number of months and it will be calculating the number of days. So months will be calculated as days divided by 30. Days will be calculated as days mod 30. Whatever will be remaining, so that value will be considered as days. Then what is the quotient? So that one will be considered as the months. So we have to print those two values. So we have the output here, sample outputs. Enter the days. Once I enter 265, months will be 8 and days will be 25. Enter the days. Second output 364. If I enter, then it will show 12 days and 12 months and 4 days. Enter the days 45. If I going to enter 45, then number of months will be 1 and number of days will be 15. So this is about arithmetic operators. Coming to the increment and decrement operators. So increment and decrement operators are the unary operators. That is, it will be used on a single operand. So only a single operand can be used to perform this increment and decrement operators. Increment operator, again, it is of two types: post increment and pre-increment. Decrement also is of two types: pre-decrement and post-decrement. So what is the difference between pre and post? So pre-increment or pre-decrement means first we are going to reduce the value or increase the value by 1 based on whether it is increment or decrement. Then we are going to use that value. Post means first we are going to use the value, then we are going to either increment or decrement the value of that particular variable. So for that we have an example program here in which we have two variables A and B which are assigned to values 5 and 5 each. So we are using A minus minus and B minus minus B. So this is post decrement, this is pre decrement. So what are the values